the pubs though, quickly to your left you'll see this white building. That's the Prospect of Whitby. Named so due to a ship called the Prospect on that side of it that was part of the Whitby coal fleet, but sadly lost at sea. Prior to that it was known as the Thames London. That's the oldest pub anywhere along the banks of the Thames. There is no pub on that side for nearly 600 years. It's so old in fact, if you look to the wall outside of it, you'll see the original weapons loose and stand. They did short front that side. This site was most notoriously known as being one of the infamous Prospect sites, which is basically where the young men of old engineered to the alley at the back of the head, crushed over the back of the head, and then press ganged into the Royal Navy. And no one actually wanted to join the Navy back then if they were dying of scurvy or something much, much worse. Also to our left, across the tops of the trees, you'll see the spire of another church. This is another bit of American history. Many years ago, a lady by the name of Jane Randall was baptised in that church, and then some years later, she met a man by the name of Peter Jefferson. They later got married in that church, and shortly afterwards immigrated to America. Whilst in America, had a son, his name was Thomas. For those of you that don't know, Thomas Jefferson was the third ever president of the United States. And 249 years ago this year, he wrote and installed the very famous Declaration of Independence. That's where his family's history and heritage starts to your left-hand side in shaped on this side. But take a look around us now, folks. You do see more evident the real changing face of our grand over in the Thames. All the old working walls and warehouses that were thriving with trade in the early part of last century, and then when we knocked down the built upon, or just straight out of days into the luxury for the side apartments. And you may have heard me say the word quite a lot of the way. To your left hand side you'll see the entrance to the old Limehouse commercial dock. Today it's no longer used commercially, so there's no longer a need for a dockmaster's house. That's the old red and white brick building to the left of the entrance. That's now been converted into a gastro pub called the Narrow, which is owned by the famous foul-mouthed celebrity TV chef Gordon Ramsay. And if you're trying to know the difference between a gastro pub and a normal pub, that's quite simple. It's about an extra £4 for your pint. You can still use the entrance today when going to the marina in a small boat. Then, if you successfully navigate the River from Hertfordshire, you can join up onto the Grand Union Canal and navigate as far as the country, places like Birmingham, Liverpool and Manchester. This is the way the goods was transported around the country many years ago, long before the days of trains and Arctic lorries. It was through UK's inland waterways. The best example of this I can give you, if any of you have ever seen the TV series Peaky Blinders, there's large movements along the canals between Birmingham and the Pubs. That's the way the goods and cargo was transported. Also very quickly to our left, you'll see this old historical pub on the banks of the Thames. We're just passing the Grapes of Narrow Street Limehouse. Slightly behind us there as we're moving quite quickly with the tide. That was in the attic of the pub where Charles Dickens sat and wrote his novel Our Mutual Friend. Our Mutual Friend was one of Dickens' last ever novels, full of murder, mysteries and suspense along the banks of the Thames. The pub is actually heavily referenced in the book. It does have Greek grapes in it. It's known by its original name, which was the Six Jolly Fellowship of Porters. The pub has now been taken over by the very famous actor and director Sir Ian McKellen. We're now approaching the Canary Wharf of the boat boats, and as we come round the point, we're going to enter into Limehouse Reach. All the points of reach are given names for navigational purposes.